because I think a Stalker 2 is right behind you. You love that transition? I think everyone loved that.
Oh.
Wait, what are
Stalker
you doing, Mommy?
Stalker 2 has released some PC what do you call it?
Specs.
Some specifications, and
Specs.
Nvidia's benchmarks have revealed that even the more powerful RTX 4090 graphics cards struggles to achieve a consistent 60 FPS at a native 4K resolutions without all the settings maxed out in Stalker 2. So the game's demanding graphics and advanced features like ray tracing, not Ray the gaming cyborg, have pushed the most high-end hardware to a place where it is at its limits. The benchmark suggests that players may need to make some graphical compromises. Nobody likes to compromise, or invest in even more hardware to make this Stalker 2 experience that much better. So, crazy stuff. The visual peak of a video game right now is outdoing any current hardware that you can put out there. I think that's insane. Software is outpacing hardware too quickly. Somebody needs to just put out, here are the specifications we are going to follow, and people need to follow it. This is too crazy.
You know what to blame, right? You know what to blame, Rudigs. It's
Tell
the
me.
damn ray tracing. It's ray tracing. Dude, it's the lighting that is
Right.
crippling the hardware, dude. If you turn ray tracing off, your card is gonna zip through that, man. I can guarantee you, it's the lighting that is crippling these cards. They had to add stuff to the cards for the lighting, and there's not a lot there. Go ahead, make it.
I was gonna like agree with that. I believe the settings is with like ultra with all the everything on. And if you look at stuff even of like Cyberpunk, which came out years ago, on a even on a 4090, will chunk at times with ray tracing turned on. I mean, just look at path tracing. It even hinders 4090 unless you turn on DLSS.
Stop cranking it to ultra.
I mean, is this not too much though? I mean, should they not have made it this graphically demanding? What does this mean for the console version? Is this going to not even run at 30 FPS on console? What is the state of
No,
video games right now?
they're gonna turn the ray tracing down. That's the compromise when it goes from PC to console or whatever. You don't get the resolution, you don't get the textures, and you're not gonna get the ray tracing. These are the compromises that are made all the time. But what's happening is this game Stalker 2 is let me guess, Unreal 5? Is it Unreal 5 engine or is it its own? Yeah, Unreal 5. That's what I figured.
5.5.
Unreal 5. Yeah, Unreal 5 is the creme de the creme right now. And not only that, but it pushes stuff to the limit, man. They want studio quality assets, meaning eventually, man, the closer you get to something, the better it's going to look until it fills your entire screen and you can't get any closer to it. Like, we're not there yet, but we're going to be. And how is it going to, Unreal 5, man, is going to be here for a decade. And the hardware we're trying to play games on it, like the PS5 and stuff, is already 4 years old. Think about that.
Well,
And
Short
the-
LMAO says ray tracing is not overrated. You can use your brain and use DLSS at quality. Well, will quality still allow you to achieve 60 FPS? I'm not a PC gamer, but I believe that makes compromises. And at least to me, the 60 FPS is the primary factor when it comes to gaming and having a smooth experience.
Are you really playing at 60 though?
There's actually controversy about the PC specs. It turns out the PC specs are somewhat a lie because the developers have wrote those PC specs with DLSS in mind. So when it says you need a 2070, they assume you're going to turn on DLSS as well on top of that. It's not without, but it's with. and they don't mention that in the PC specs. And if you mention this on the Steam forums, the developers literally ban you for it. And that's what's been going on for today, for the last 24 hours.
Well, let me say this: on a 4090, you can play Cyberpunk and have it look absolutely amazing. You turn on path tracing, you just cut your frames down to like 40. Like there's different versions of ray tracing and implementing of lighting that goes into a lot of these games. Some of it's faked, but the systems they're using now, they're not faking it, and it's going to take a lot more resources. Now, I would rather turn off ray tracing, and that's just me. But like in Spider-Man 2, or Spider-Man, it's very significant when you're on a glass window and it turns into a type of mirror. Like that can't be understated. That's very cool and it's very immersive. But it is a resource hog, and they haven't found a workaround for that. There's no AI that's gonna fix it. Like they're adding stuff to the cards to get better ray tracing.
I mean, in my opinion, I feel like they need to offer an option where they offload a lot of this heavy duty stuff with the cloud. And not give you a gaming limit on that, of course. But I mean, consoles and PCs are just reaching a limit. Like you said, this needs DLSS or else you're still going to suffer. I mean, this game is just not a 60 FPS. You won't be able to run it at that. I mean, it's just impossible. And I doubt when it comes to the PS5 Pro that even it, with all its glorious power, will be able to hit a 60 FPS on this game.
Well, no, with PSSR, no, with PSSR, it should be able to. It's just what did they have to do to make it run properly? Because they're gonna have to turn down, like it's not gonna be ultra settings. That was part of the debate of the PS5 Pro that I didn't like. These people were trying to say, oh, it's gonna be as powerful as a 4090. No, it's not. It's an APU. It's never gonna be as powerful as dedicated stuff. But there's always corners to cut when it comes to putting it on console. It's just true, man. You like dial the stuff back a little bit, and the more you dial it up on PC, the more it runs your whole rig hard. They have workarounds with AI like DLSS. It's making things better and stuff, but it's still very resource hungry, man.
Yeah, and shout out to Short LMAO. He says on the 4090, it's already said that at Ultra 4K, it'll run at 50 FPS, but with DLSS performance, it'll run at 120 FPS.
Nice.
Now, I believe I did see that in the
Where?
article, but
Okay.
that is a huge jump in frame generation. Is DLSS that powerful? And I just don't know it. I'm not familiar with the technology, but can it just hold a 120 from a 50?
Yeah,
If
frame
anyone
gen
in the
is
panel.
OP. Yeah, frame gen's like crazy. You can use it on AMD frame gen as well. They're great as well.
Yeah, and you got to remember, to get these effective frame rates, you're not going to be going at native 4K or native 2K. You could go to native 2K, but like it just depends on what kind of hardware you got and what you can do. You can dial in these things on PC fairly easily. You just don't have those options on console.
On Pro.
Until the Pro. Yes, thanks, Ray, for that shout out. Well, excellent. Anybody else want to say something? Do you think software needs to hit the brakes? Do you think hardware needs to hit the brakes? In my opinion, I think Cloudware needs to step up. I think you should have a cloud boost option that allows your console to offload some of the work into the cloud. I think that's a step that we need to be taking to be able to keep up with a lot of this software that's just pushing the limits further and further. Or not be as picky and just be happy with what we got. But yeah, Go Maker.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that I do think that it's going to constantly progress. We're going to get more intensive games. That's just the cycle that has always been. But performance on consoles will always be on how well optimized it is for the console. I mean, they're able to put the Apex Legends on the Switch, and that's like a mobile chip. So, yeah.
Ooh, a little Apex. Well, let's get into our next story, because there was a lot to talk about today and some other things I wanted to jump into, and that is